Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to be looking at um, grounding the image. The first part here, I'm working on her face some more and her arms. I didn't like how the blue was turning out around her face, so I made adjustments. And I brought in a little bit darker, sort of a pinkish brown. It's a pink brown mix, and most of this video is really about grounding her and the spider on the cracks. As you can see right now, there's too much of sort of a parchmenty yellow color underneath them, and I want to turn that into a ground. And the first step of that is just simply to alter the color. I don't mind the parchment coming through, so you'll still see some of the parchment through the brown mixture that I'm mixing here. If you look in the palette, the top color is that parchment, and then the other two colors are Van Dyke Brown and Burnt Umber. And so I'm mixing them, and the little plastic cup you see is actually a medium. So I'm using that as my thinner to liquefy the mixture a little bit when I need it. And I have gone up in brush size because I found the initial brush I was using was just too small. So basically I'm trying to stay horizontally level to some extent. The cracks that you see are actually quite wide, much more so than what you see in this image. So in the story, they're quite wide, and they run around on the top of these cracks. So my first step in grounding them is simply to modify the color so that it's varied and looks more like dirt. Um, I will probably come back in next and add speckles showing more dirt. And then the step after that is to actually start working the cracks themselves into what you see, into this ribbon of parchment color. The other thing I've done already is start to break down the edges so that they're rougher than the initial smoothness that they were. Um, so I did that, but it didn't turn out to be in this clip. So it's already been done a little bit. It'll change more as well as I start fleshing out the cracks. So basically what's happened here is I've done a lot of the work on the spider and the character. I have to fix the ground, and I have to do some work on the planets. And then I'll come back in and do some more work on the characters to do their edging and things like that. I'll be adding shadows into the ground, and the last thing I'll kind of be doing is the background starscape and the magic. So at this point, you're seeing sort of the work up to that, where the characters have to look like they're standing on something. So I have to work on that. And like I said, the shadows have to come in there to make that work a little bit better. But all of this also modifies the colors around it. Every time you change your sort of base out, which is what I'm doing, is I'm modifying that base parchmenty color. Um, the colors around next to and adjacent to that color will shift in how you see them. And so what I like to do is come back in and look at them for a little bit of time before I take the next step. Um, it's, it's kind of a delayed process, but that's how it works. At least for me, is that I need to see the colors and see what I think about them. So, so in this video, this is all about grounding the characters and getting that ribbon toned down with the browns and the mixture and making it uneven so the eye is not seeing a sort of parchment yellow ribbon all of one color, which it would never be in real life. So that's what's happening right now. And the next step is going to be another video where I'll be working on the speckles in the ground, and I'll also be working on the shadows. And I have to do, it's sort of like you have to do these things in order because other things go on top of what you're doing. And I want to add hairs to the legs of the spider, and so all of the other work has to be done that would be under or behind those hairs. So it's kind of, you have to figure out what your foreground, background is doing, and then kind of work up to it in order. And so that's what you're seeing here today. And somebody asked me, I don't have any cats in this one. My cats tend to just, their food is on this table. So on the other end of this table. So quite frequently they want to see what I'm doing. And they step into the picture. And I don't mention them usually. I just kind of let them walk through. You'll also see the occasional ants. I live in the desert in Nevada, and we have ant season here, where there are simply ants that live everywhere outside of my cottage, and so they come up through the floor, they come in through every possible crack you can have, and I'm not a huge fan of poisoning things, so I mostly live with them. I have strategies on living with ants. Sometimes I'm frustrated and do squish several. These are what we call piss ants, and they smell. They have an odor, kind of a sweet odor when you squish them, which it's weird. What can I say? It's weird. But I have so many ants in such a, just the way the life is here. It's like I'm living on New York City of ants. That I've actually written a book called The Interstellar Ant Farm, that was influenced by my constant living with ants. The only ones I don't allow in my house at all are the big reds and the big blacks, because they actually bite pretty significantly. Where these little ones, they can bite you, but it's a small nibble, and probably hurts them more than it hurts me. And usually it results in me squishing them because I don't like being bitten even by little tiny ones. But anyway, that's my ant story for the day. So next up, I have some other art coming up that I'm going to post here probably in the next videos, that gets more into illustration and more into some color business, talking about how you work with your color palette, or how I work with it, and things that you can do. So looking forward to making those videos for you, because I've been doing this cover for a week and straight, and I'm ready to be done with this cover, even though it's not ready to be done with me yet. Just like with writing, when you're doing art, like I'm doing very structured art here because I'm trying to make it look a certain way. In the middles, you get what we call saggy middles, where you can see it starting to happen, but you're also not at exciting points. I mean, this is what I'm doing today is not real exciting for me as an artist. It's necessary. That's a different kind of way of going at it. So I'm doing the work, but it's not the thrilling, makes me happy, oh, this is exciting kind of thing. So in this way, writing and art are very similar. So right now, like I said, this is the kind of boring middles. And off to the right there, you see I have added a time clock. I'm trying to structure my videos better so that I can put out about 15-minute videos for you, rather than what was happening with the time lapse, which wasn't exactly what I wanted. So Anyway, that's kind of what's happening here. So I'm going to do the entire ribbon and all the way to the last planet there, and just change the tonal quality, make it a little less structured or looser, and try to make it feel a little bit more organic, which I think is happening, and staying in the same color palette as the spider. She's got a lot of brown on her, so you're seeing similar colors but not exactly the same. And I think that's going to work. I was thinking I might need to add a little gray, but I haven't done it yet. I may end up doing that in the shadow adding part, and when I'm adding the speckles of dirt. So that's coming up. And one thing I do need to say is that each time I come in here and work on it now, because I've been working on it for quite a long time for me, the sort of feeling of risk is higher. I don't want to screw it up at this point. So it makes me a little bit more nervous when I'm working. But that's kind of part of this process. Is I'm starting to see what I want to see in this cover. I think it'll turn out pretty cool, and I'm excited by it. But like I said, that makes it. I'm liking it a whole lot better than I liked the earlier versions, and I think as I work the final details out, that that my appreciation of it will increase. With a little luck, I won't screw it up, and I'll be able to use this one and move on to back to working on the inspectors, which I'm kind of eager to do. And so this is the last piece of major art for the Bug Mage, I hope. And when it's done, then it'll be manipulated into the cover for the hardcover and print version of the book. The Bug Mage is not going to be available as an ebook because it has art inside of it, and ebooks are not conducive to having art. So, so this is kind of the last big piece to the novel, other than the fact that I am going to reformat it using a new program I've purchased called Alliance Publisher, which is sort of like InDesign kind of program. It's a typesetting program. So it's designed for bookmaking. I got very frustrated with the programs I have, and because they don't want you to sort of control the process. And in typesetting, your best results come from a typesetter controlling how the page turns out looking. And I want that control back. I've done typesetting a large part of my life, and I'm just frustrated by the programs I have. So that's going to happen also for the Bug Mage, and that'll probably take me a little time, and I'll probably take you along on some of that as I learn that new program, and I'll let you know how I like it. What I really liked about it was I don't have to buy a subscription, and I don't like subscription programs that Adobe went to. I don't like being forced to pay all the time for a program I purchased. I'd rather buy it one time and own it and use it for years without constantly feeling dinged. So that's going to happen very shortly, where I'll reformat the Bug Mage and probably show you pieces of that and how the program is working as I go along, because I'm actually pretty excited to do that. So anyway, that's where we are, and that's it for today. And hope you like and subscribe, and tell your friends about it, and come back and see me the next time. Bye.
Okay.